Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Gnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapatakalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prisabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashadya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasa Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Narayanam Namaskritya, Naram Chaiva Narottamam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam, Tato Jayamudirayed, Srinvatam Svakata Krishna, Punyashravana Kirtana, Rityandastoya Bhadrani, Vidunuti Suhrit Satam. Nashtaprayasva Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Before reciting the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the person of Godhead Narayana, unto Nara Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma super soul in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Pranjal Prabhu and Rishikesh Prabhu Dandar Pranam, Jai Śrīla Prabhupada, Tribol. Text number 14. 3:22:14. Oh, 1 second. Aham tvasrinva. Okay, let's see it again. Tvasrinvana. Tvasrinnavam. This is hard word. Tvasrinnavam. Navam. Aham tva Srinavam vidvan vivadhartam samudyatam atastvamupakurvana pratam pratigrahaname. Tvasrinvam. Aham I, tva you, asrinavam. Asrinavam, heard. Vidvan, O wise man. Vivahartham, for the sake of marriage, samudyatam, prepared. Ata, hence, tvam you. Upakurvanaha, not taken a vow of perpetual celibacy. Pratam, offered. Pratigrihana, please accept me, of me. Translation. Swayambhuva Manu continued, O wise man, I heard that you were prepared to marry. Please accept her hand, which is being offered to you by me since you have not taken a vow of perpetual celibacy. Purport. The principle of brahmacharya is celibacy. There are two kinds of brahmacharis. One is called Naishtika brahmachari, which means one who has taken a vow of celibacy for his whole life, whereas the other, the Upakurvana brahmachari, is a brahmachari who takes the vow of celibacy up to a certain age. For example, he may take the vow to remain celibate up to 25 years of age. Then, with the permission of the spiritual master, he enters married life. Brahmacharya is student life, the beginning of life in the spiritual order, or orders, and the principle of brahmacharya is celibacy. Only a householder can indulge in sense gratification or sex life, not a brahmachari. Swayambhuva Manu requested Kardama Muni to accept his daughter since Kardama had not taken the vow of Naishtika brahmacharya. He was willing to marry, and the suitable daughter of a high royal family was presented. 15. Rishiruvacha Badam udvodukamoham apratta chatavatmaja avayor anuruposam adyo vaivahiko vidi. Rishi, the great sage Kardama, Uvacha said, Badam, very well, Udvodukama, desires to marry, Aham, Apratta, not promised to anyone else, Cha and Tava, your Atmaja, daughter, Avayo, of us two, Anurupa, proper, Asau this, Adya first, Vaivahika of marriage, Vidhi ritualistic ceremony. Translation. The great sage replied, Certainly, I have a desire to marry, and your daughter has not yet married or given her word to anyone. Therefore, a marriage according to Vedic system can take place. Purport. There were many considerations by Kardama Muni before accepting the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu. Most important is that Devahuti had first of all fixed her mind on marrying him. She did not choose to have any other man as her husband. That is a great consideration because female psychology dictates that when a woman offers her heart to a man for the first time, it is very difficult for her to take it back. Also, she had not married before, she was a virgin girl. All these considerations convinced Kardama Muni to accept her. Therefore, he said, Yes, I shall accept your daughter under religious regulations of marriage. There are different kinds of marriages, of which the first class marriage is held by inviting a suitable bridegroom for the daughter and giving her in charity, well dressed and well decorated with ornaments, along with dowry according to the means of the father. There are other kinds of marriage, such as Gandharva marriage and marriage by love, which are also accepted as marriage. Even if one is forcibly kidnapped and later accepted as a wife, that is also accepted. but Kardama Muni accepted the first class of marriage because the father was willing and the daughter was qualified. She had never offered her heart to anyone else. All these considerations made Kardama Muni agree to accept the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu. Haribol. Hare Krishna, Praveen Prabhu and Vishnu Prabhu Tandar Pranam Jai Shri Prabhupada. Okay, who wants to continue from the next verse?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Haribol, yeah.
Does anyone want to continue or shall I? Okay. I will lead you. Text 16. Canto 3, chapter 22, text 16. कामः भूयान् नरदेवतेस्याः पुत्र्याः समाम्या समाम्न्याय विधौ प्रतीतः क एव ते तनयां नाद्रियेत स्वयैव कान्यत्या क्षिपतीम् इव श्रियम्. Synonyms: कामः, desire; saha, that; bhuyat, let it be fulfilled; naradeva, O king; te, your; asyaha, this; putryaha, of the daughter; samamnyaya vidhau, in the process of the Vedic scriptures; pratitaha, recognized; kaha, who; eva, in fact; te, your; tanayam, daughter; na adriyeta, would not adore; swaya, by her own; eva, alone; kanyata, kanyatya, bodily luster; kshipatim, excelling; iva, as if; sriyam, ornaments. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: Let your daughter's desire for marriage, which is recognized in the Vedic scriptures, be fulfilled. Who would not accept her hand? She is so beautiful that by her body luster alone she excels the beauty of her ornaments. Purport: Kardama Muni wanted to marry Devahuti in the recognized manner of marriage prescribed in the scriptures. As stated in the Vedic scriptures, the first class process is to call the bridegroom to the home of the bride and hand her to him in the charity with a dowry of necessary ornaments, gold, furniture, and other household paraphernalia. This form of marriage is prevalent among higher class Hindus even today and is declared in the Shastras to confer great religious merit on the bride's father. To give a daughter in charity to a suitable son in law is considered to be one of the pious activities of a householder. There are 8 forms of marriage mentioned in the scripture Manusmriti, but only one process of marriage, Brahma or Rajasika marriage, is now current. Other kinds of marriage by love, by exchange of garlands, or by kidnapping the bride are now forbidden in this Kali age. Formerly, Kshatriyas would, at their pleasure, kidnap a princess from another royal house, and there would be a fight between the Kshatriya and the girl's family. Then, if the kidnapper was the winner, the girl would be offered to him for marriage. Even Krishna married Rukmini by that process, and some of his sons and grandsons also married by kidnapping Krishna's grandson kidnapping. Krishna's grandson kidnapped Duryodhana's daughter, which caused a fight between the Kuru and Hindu families. Afterwards, an adjustment was made by the elderly members of the Kuru family. Such marriages were current in bygone ages, but at the present moment they are not possible because the strict principles of Kshatriya life have practically been abolished. Since in India has become dependent on foreign countries, the particular influences of her social orders have been lost. Now, according to the scriptures, everyone is a Shudra. The so-called Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas have forgotten their traditional activities, and in the absence of these activities, they are called Sudras. It is said in the scriptures, Kalau Sudra Sambhava. In the age of Kali, everyone will be like Sudras. The traditional social customs are not followed in this age, although formally they were followed strictly. Text 17. Yam Harmya Prishte Kvanad Angri Shobham Vikridatim Kanduka Vihvalakshim विश्वावसुर न्यपतत् स्वाद विमानाद विलोक्य सम्मोह विमूढ़ चेताः synonyms yam whom harmapृष्ठे on the harmyapृष्ठे on the roof of the palace kvanat angri shobham whose beauty was heightened by the tinkling ornaments on her feet Virkedatim playing Kanduka Vihvala Akshim with eyes bewildered following her ball. Vishwavasu Nyapatat fell down Swat from his own Vimanat from the airplane Vilokya seeing Sammoha Vimudha Chetaha whose mind was stupefied. Translation: I have heard that Vishwavashu, the great Gandharva, his mind, stupefied with infatuation, fell from his airplane after seeing your daughter playing with a ball on the roof of the palace. For she was indeed beautiful with her twinkling ankle bells and her eyes moving to and fro. Purport. It is understood that not only at the present moment, but in those days also, there were skyscrapers. Herein, we find the word Hermia Prishte. Hermia means a very big palatial building. Swad Vimanad means from his own airplane. It is suggested that private airplanes or helicopters were also current in those days. The Gandharva Vishwavasu, while flying in the sky, could see Devahuti playing ball on the roof of the palace. Ball playing was also current, but aristocratic girls would not play in a in a public place. Ball playing and other such pleasures were not meant for ordinary women and girls. Only princes like Devahuti could indulge in such sports. It is described here that she was seen from the flying airplane. This indicates that the palace was very high, otherwise, how could one see her from an airplane? The vision was so distinct that the Gandharva Vishwavasu was bewildered by her beauty, and by hearing the sound of her ankle bangles and being captivated by the sound and beauty, he fell down. Kardama Muni Kardama Muni mentioned the incident as he had heard it. Text 18. Tam प्रार्थयन्तीं ललना ललामम् असेवित श्रीचरणैरदृष्टां वत्सां मनोर उच्चपदः स्वसारं को नानुमन्यते बुधोऽभियातां synonyms tam her tam her Parthayantim seeking Lalana Lala Mam, the ornament of women. Asevita Sri Charanaihi, by those who have not worshipped the feet of Lakshmi. Adrishtam, not seen. Vatsam, beloved daughter. Manoho, of Swayambhuva Manu. Ucha Padaha, of Uttanapada. Swasaram, sister. Kaha, what? Na. Na anumanyate with would not welcome buddha wise man abhiyatam who has come of her own accord. Translation. What wise man would not welcome her, the very ornament of womanhood, the beloved daughter of Swayambhumanu and sister of Uttanapada? Those who have not worshipped the gracious feet of the goddess of fortune cannot even perceive her. Yet she has come of her own accord to a wise man. Come down to to seek my hand. Purport. Kardama Muni praised the beauty and qualification of Devahuti in different ways. Devahuti was actually the ornament of all ornamented beautiful girls. A girl becomes beautiful by putting ornaments on her body, but Devahuti was more beautiful than the ornaments. She was considered the ornament of the ornamented beautiful girls. Demigods and Gandharvas were attracted by her beauty. Kardama Muni, although a great sage, was not a denizen of the heavenly planets, but it is mentioned in the previous verse that Vishwasu, who came from heaven, was also attracted by the beauty of Devahuti. Besides her personal beauty, she was the daughter of Emperor Swayambhuva and sister of King Uttanapada. Who could refuse the hand of such a girl? Text 19. अथो भाजिष्ये समयेन साध्वीं यावत् तेजो बिभ्रयात् आत्मनो मे अतो धर्मान् पारमहंस्य मुख्यान् शुक्लप्रोक्तान् बहु मन्ये विहिंस्रान् synonyms. Ataha, therefore, Vajishya, I shall accept Samayena on the conditions Sadhvim, the chaste girl, Yavat, until Tejaha, Semina, Vibhriyat, may bear Atmanaha from my body, may my Ataha thereafter Dharma on the duties Paramahamsya Mukhyan of the best of the Paramahamsas Shukla Proktan spoken by Lord Vishnu Bahu much Manye I shall consider Avihim Stran free from envy. Translation. Therefore I shall accept this chaste girl as my wife on the condition that after she bears semina from my body I shall accept the life of devotional service accepted by the most perfect human beings. That process was described by Lord Vishnu. It is free from envy. Purport. Kadamuni expressed his desire for a very beautiful wife to Emperor Swayambhuva, and he accepted his daughter for marriage. He was in the hermitage practicing complete celibacy as a brahmachari, and although he had the desire to marry, he did not want to be householder for the whole span of his life because he was conversant with the Vedic principles of human life. According to Vedic principles, the first part of life should be utilized in brahmacharya for the development of character and spiritual qualities. In the next part of life, one may accept a wife and beget children, but one should not beget children like cats and dogs. Kadamuni described to beget a child who would be a ray of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should beget a child who can perform the duties of Vishnu, otherwise, there is no need to produce children. There are two kinds of children born of good fathers. One is educated in Krishna consciousness so that he can be delivered from the clutches of Maya in the very life, and the other is a ray of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and teaches the world the ultimate goal of life. As will be described in later chapters, Kadamuni begot such a child, Kapila, the incarnation of the Personality of Godhead, who enunciated the philosophy of Sankhya. Great householders pray to God to send his representative so that there may be an auspicious moment in human society. There is one reason to beget a children. Another reason is that this is one reason to beget a child. Another reason is that a highly enlightened parent can train a child in Krishna consciousness so that the child will not have to come back again to this miserable world. Parents should see to it that the child born of them does not enter the womb of a mother again. Unless one can train a child for liberation in that life, come now, go. In that life, there is no need to marry or produce children. If human society produces children like cats and dogs for the disturbance of social order, then the world becomes hellish as it has in this age of Kali. In this age, neither parents nor their children are trained. Both are animalistic and simply eat, sleep, mate, defend, and gratify their senses. This disorder in social life cannot bring peace to human society. Kadamuni explains beforehand that he would not associate with the girl Devavati for the whole duration of this life, of his life. He would simply associate with her until she had a child. In other words, sex life should be utilized only to produce a nice child, not for any other purpose. Human life is especially meant for complete devotion to the service of the Lord. That is the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya. After fulfilling his responsibility to produce a nice child, one should take sannyasa and engage in the perfectional Paramahamsa stage. Paramahamsa refers to the most highly elevated perfectional stage of life. There are four stages within sannyasa life, and Paramahamsa is the highest order. The Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is called the Paramahamsa Samhita, the treatise treatise for the highest class of human beings. The Paramahamsa is free from envy. In other words, even in the household stage of life, there is competition and envy, but since the activities of the human being in the Paramahamsa stage are completely engaged in Krishna consciousness or devotional service, there is no scope for envy. In the same order as Kardamuni, about 100 years ago, Thakur Bhaktivedanta also wanted to beget a children who beget a child who could preach the philosophy and teaching of Lord Chaitanya to the fullest extent. By his prayers to the Lord, he had as his child Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, who at the present moment is preaching the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya throughout the entire world through his bona fide disciples. Text 20. यतो भवत् विश्वम् इदं विचित्रं संस्थास्यते यत्र च वाविष्टेष्टाते प्रजापतीनां पतिर्येष मह्यं परं परमान्नं भगवान् अनन्तः synonyms यतः from whom अभवत् emanated विश्वं creation idam this vichitram wonderful samstashyate will dissolve yatra in whom cha and va or avitishtate personally presently exists prajapatinam of the prajapatis patihi the lord yeshaha this mahyam to me param highest paramanam authority, Bhagavan, Supreme Lord, Anantaha, unlimited. Translation: the highest authority for me is the unlimited Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom this wonderful creation emanates and in whom its sustenance and resolution rest. He is the origin of all Prajapatis, the personalities meant to produce living entities in this world. Purport: Kardamuni was ordered by his father Prajapati to produce children. In the beginning of creation, the Prajapatis were meant to produce the large population which was to reside in the planets of the gigantic universe. But Kardamuni said that although his father was Prajapati, who desired him to produce children, actually his origin was the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, because Vishnu is the origin of everything. He is the actual creator of this universe. He is the actual maintainer. And when everything is annihilated, it rests in him only. That is the conclusion of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. For creation, maintenance, and annihilation, there are the three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara Shiva. But Brahma and Maheshwara are qualitative expansions of Vishnu. Vishnu is the central figure. Vishnu, therefore, takes charge of maintenance. No one can maintain the whole creation but him. There are innumerable entities and they have innumerable demands. No one but Vishnu can fulfill the innumerable demands of all the innumerable living entities. Brahma is ordered to create and Shiva is ordered to annihilate. The middle function, maintenance, is taken charge of by Vishnu. Kadamuni knew very well, but by his power in progressive spiritual life, and that Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, was his worshipable deity. Whatever Vishnu desired was his duty and nothing else. He was he was not prepared to beget a number of children. He would beget only one child who would help the mission of Vishnu. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, whenever there is a discrepancy in the discharge of religious principles, the Lord descends on the surface of the earth to protect religious principles and to annihilate the miscreants. Marrying and begetting a children is considered to liquidate one's debts to the family in which one is born. There are many debts which are imposed on a living entity. Come on, bro. Maybe imposed, which are imposed upon a child just after his birth. There are debts to the family in which one is born, debts to the demigods, debts to the pitas, debts to the rishis, etc. But if someone engages only in the service of the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, who is actually worshipable, then even without trying to liquidate other debts, one becomes free from all obligations. Kardamuni preferred to devote his life as a servant of the Lord in Paramahamsa knowledge and to beget the children only for that purpose, not to beget numberless children to fill up the vacancies in the universe. Text 21. Maitreya Vacha Sa उग्रधन्वन् यद् एवाव भाषे आसीच्च च तूष्णीम् नाभं धियोपगृह्णन् स्मित शोभितेन मुखेन चेतो लुलुभे देवहूत्याः. Synonyms. Maitreya, the great sage Maitreya Uvacha said, Saha he Kardama Ugra Dhanman. Oh, great warrior Vidura, yet this much Eva only Abha Bhashe spoke, Asit became Cha and Tushnim silent, Aravinda Nabham, Lord Vishnu, whose navel is adored by a lotus, Dhiya by thought, Upagrihnan, Upagrihnan seizing, Smita Shobhitena beautified by his smile, Mukhena by his face, Chetaha the mind, Lulubhe was captivated, Devahutyah of Devahuti. Translation. Sri Maitreya said, O great warrior Vidura, the sage Kardama said this much only and then became silent, thinking of his worshipful Lord Vishnu, who has a lotus on his navel. As he silently smiled, his face captured the mind of Devahuti, who began to meditate upon the great sage. Purport. It appears that Kardamuni was fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness because as soon as he became silent, he at once began to think of Lord Vishnu. Amnama? Vishnu. That is the way of Krishna consciousness. Pure devotees are so absorbed in thought of Krishna that they have no other engagement. Although they may seem to think or act otherwise, they are always thinking of Krishna. The smile of such a Krishna conscious person is so attractive that simply by smiling, he wins so many admirers, disciples, and followers. Text 22. Sonu jnatva vyavasitam mani मनीष्य दुहितुः स्फुटं तस्मै गुणगण्डा गणाढ्याय ददौ तुल्यां प्रहर्षितः. Saha, he, Emperor Manu, afterwards, Jnatva, having known, Vyavasitam, the fixed decision, Mahishyah, of the queen, Duhituhu, of his daughter Sputam, clearly Tasmai, to him, Guna Gana Adhyaya, who was endowed with a host of virtuous, Tadau gave away Tulyam, who was equal in good qualities, Praharshitaha, extremely pleased. Translation: after having unmistakably known the decision of the queen as well as that of Devahuti, the emperor most gladly gave his daughter to the sage, whose host of virtues was equaled by hers. Text 23. शतरूपा महाराज्ञी पारिबर्हान् महाधनान् दम्पत्योः पर्यदात् प्रीत्या भूषावासः भूषावासः परिच्छन्दान् परिच्छद्दान्. Synonyms: Shatarupa, Empress; Shatarupa, Maharajni, the Empress; Paribarhan, dowry; Mahadhanan, valuable presents; Dampatyoh, to the bride and bridegroom; Paryadat, gave; Pritya, out of affection; Bhusha, ornaments; Vasaha, clothes; Parichadan, articles for household use. Translation: Empress Shatarupa lovingly gave most valuable presents suitable for the occasion, such as jewelry, clothes, and household articles in dowry to the bride and bridegroom. Purport: the custom of giving one's daughter in charity with a dowry is still current in India. Gifts are given according to the position of the father of the bride. Paribarhan Mahadhanan means the dowry which must be awarded to the bridegroom at the time of marriage. Here, Mahadhanan means greatly valuable gifts befitting the dowry of an empress. The words Bhusha Vasaha Parichandhan also appear here. Bhusha means ornaments, Vasaha means clothing, and Parichadan means various household articles. All things befitting the marriage ceremony of an emperor's daughter were awarded to Kardamuni, who was until now observing celibacy as a brahmachari. The bride, Devahuti, was very richly dressed with ornaments and clothing. In this way, Kadamuni was married with full opulence to a qualified wife and was endowed with the necessary paraphernalia for household life. In the Vedic way of marriage, such a dowry is still given to the bridegroom by the father of the bride. Even in poverty stricken India, there are marriages where hundreds and thousands of rupees are spent for a dowry. The dowry system is not illegal, as some have tried to prove. The dowry is a gift given to the daughter by the father to show goodwill, and it is compulsory. In rare cases where the father is completely unable to give a dowry, it is enjoined that he must at least give a fruit and a flower. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, God can also be pleased even by a fruit and a flower. When there is financial inability and no question of accumulating a dowry by another means, one can give a fruit and a flower for the satisfaction of the bridegroom. Text 24. Prattam duhitaram samrat षड्रिक्षाय गत व्यथः उपगुह्य च बाहुभ्याम् औत्कण्ठ्योन्मथिताशयः. Synonyms: Prattam, who was given Tuhitaram, daughter; Samrat, the emperor Manu; Sadrikshaya, unto a suitable person; Gata Vyataha, revealed of his responsibility; Upaguhya, embracing; Cha, and Bahubhyam, with his two arms; Autkhantyaya, Unmatita Ashayeha, having an anxious and agitated mind. Translation: thus revealed of his responsibility by handing over his daughter to a suitable man. Swayambhu Manu, his mind agitated by feelings of separation, embraced his affectionate daughter with both his arms. Purport: a father always remains in anxiety until he can hand over his grown up daughter to a suitable boy. A father and mother's responsibilities for children continues until they marry them to suitable spouses. When the father is able to perform the duty, he is relieved of his responsibility. Text 25. Ashaknuvams tad virahana viraham munchan बाष्पा कलाम मुहुः आशिंचद अम्ब वत्सेति नेत्रोदैर्दुहितुः शिखाः synonyms ashaknuvan being unable to bear tat viraham separation from her munchan shedding bashpa kalam tears muhu again and again Asinchat, he drenched. Amba, my dear mother. Vatsa, my dear daughter. Iti, thus, Netra Udaihi, by the water from his eyes. Duhituhu, of his daughter. Kshitaha, Shikshaha, the locks of hair. Shikaha, the locks of hair. Translation. The emperor was unable to bear the separation of his daughter. Therefore, tears poured from his eyes again and again, drenching his daughter's head as he cried, My dear mother, my dear daughter. Purport. The word Amba is significant. A mother sometimes addresses his daughter in affection as mother and sometimes as my darling. The feeling of separation occurs because until the daughter is married, she remains the daughter of the father. But after her marriage, she is no longer claimed as a daughter in the family. She must go to the husband's house, for after marriage, she becomes the property of the husband. According to Manu Samhita, a woman is never independent. She must remain the property of the father while she is not married, and she must remain the property of the husband until she is elderly and has grown up children of her own. In old age, when the husband has taken sannyasa and left home, she remains the property of the sons. A woman is always dependent either upon the father, husband, or elderly sons. That will be exhibited in the life of Devahuti. Devahuti's father handed over responsibility for her to the husband Kardamuni, and in the same way, Kardamuni also left home, giving the responsibility to his son Kapila. This narration will describe these events one after another. Text 26 27. आमन्त्र्यतं मुनिवरम् अनुज्ञतः सहानुगः प्रतस्ते रथम् आरुह्य सभार्यः स्वपुरं नृपः उभयोर्ऋषिकुल्यायाः सरस्वत्याः सुहृद्योः ऋषीणाम् उपशान्तानां पश्यन् आश्रमसम्पदः synonyms amantriya taking permission to go. Can you go up a little bit? Yeah, amantriyam taking permission to go tam from him kardama muni param from the best of sages anugyataha being permitted to leave saha anugaha along with his retinue Prataste started for Ratham Aruhya, mounting his chariot, Swabharyaha, Swabharyaha, along with his wife, Swapuram, his own capital, Nipaha, the emperor, Ubhayoh, on both Rishi Kulyayaha, agreeable to the sages, Saraswatyaha of the river Saraswati, Surodha Soho, the charming banks, Rishinam of the great sages, Upashantanam, tranquil, Pashyan, seeing, Ashrama, Sampadaha, the prosperity of the beautiful hermitages. Translation. After asking and obtaining the great sage's permission to leave, the monarch mounted his chariot with his wife and started for his capital, followed by his retinue. Although along the way he saw the prosperity of the tranquil sheets, beautiful hermitages on both the charming banks of the Saraswati, the river so agreeable to saintly persons. Purport. As cities are constructed in the modern age with great engineering and architectural craftsmanship, so in days gone by, there were neighborhoods called Rishikulas, where great saintly persons resided. In India, there are still many magnificent places for spiritual understanding. There are many rishis and saintly persons living in nice cottages on the banks of the Ganges and Yamuna for purposes of spiritual cultivation. While passing through the Rishi Kulas, the king and his party were very much satisfied with the beauty of the cottages and hermitages. It is stated here, Pashyan Ashrama Sampadaha. The great sages had no skyscrapers, but the hermitages were so beautiful that the king was very much pleased at the sight. Text 28. Tam ahantam abhipreत्य ब्रह्मावर्ताः ब्रह्मावर्तात् प्रजापतिं गीत संस्तुति वादित्रैः प्रत्युधी प्रत्युदीहुः दीयुः प्रहर्षितः प्रहर्षिताः synonyms tam him ayantam who was arriving abhipretya knowing of brahma vartat from brahma varta Prajaha, his subjects, Patim, their lord, Gita, Samstuti, Vaditrehi, with songs, praise, and instrumental music, Pradyutiyuhu, came forward to greet Praharshitaha, overjoyed. Translation. Overjoyed to know of his arrival, his subjects came forth from Brahmavarta to greet their returning lord with songs, prayers, and musical instruments. Purport. It is the custom of the citizens of a kingdom's capital to receive the king when he returns from a tour. There is a similar description when Krishna returned to Dwarka after the battle of Kurukshetra. At that time, he was received by all classes of citizens at the gate of the city. Formerly, capital cities were surrounded by walls and there were different gates for regular entrance. Even in Delhi today, there are old gates and some other old cities have such gates where citizens would gather to receive the king. Here also, the citizens of Brahi- Barhishmati, the capital of Brahmavarta, the kingdom of Swayambhuva, came nicely dressed to receive the emperor with decorations and musical instruments. Text 29:30. बर्हिष्मती नाम पुरी सर्वसम्पत् समन्विता न्यपतन् यत्र रोमाणि यज्ञस्याङ्गं विधून्वतः कुक्षाः काशाः त एवासन् शश्वद् ऋषयो यैः पराभाव्य यज्ञ घ- घनान् यज्ञम् ईजिरे synonyms Barhishmati Nama named Puri city Sarva Sampat all kinds of wealth Samanvita full of Nyapatan fell down Yatra where Romani the hairs Yajnasya of Lord bore Angam, his body, Vidhun Vataha, shaking, Kushaha, Kusha grass, Kashaha, Kasha grass, they, Eva, certainly, Ashan became Saswat Harita of evergreen, Varchaja having the color, Rashayaha, the sages, Yaihi, by which Parabhava, Parabha, Parabhavya, defeating Yajna Ghanan, the disturbers of the sacrificial performances, Yajnam, Lord Vishnu, Ijire, they worshipped. Translation. The city of Barhishmati, rich in all kinds of wealth, was so called because Lord Vishnu's hair dropped there from his body when he manifested himself as Lord Both. As he shook his body, his very hair fell and turned into blades of evergreen kusha grass and kasha, another kind of grass are used for mats, by means of which the sages worshipped Lord Vishnu after defeating the demons who had interfered with the performance of their sacrifices. Purport: any place directly connected with the Supreme Lord is called Pitaha Sthana. Pita Sthana. Bharishmati, the capital of Swayambhu Manu, was exalted not because the city was very rich in wealth and opulence, but because the heirs of Lord Varaha fell at this very spot. These heirs of the Lord later grew as green grass, and the sages used to worship the Lord with that grass after the time when the Lord killed the demon Hiranyaksha. Yajna means Vishnu, the supreme personality of God. In the Bhagavad Gita, karma is described as Yajnartha. Yajnartha karma means work done only for the satisfaction of Vishnu. If something is done for sense gratification or any other purposes, then it will be binding upon the worker. If one wants to be freed from the reaction of his birth, he must perform everything for the satisfaction of Vishnu or Yajna. In the capital of Swayambhu Manu, Bharismati, these particular functions were being performed by the great sages and saintly persons. Text 31. Kushakasa Mayam Barhir Atri Astriya Bhagavan Munuhu यजत यज्ञ पुरुषम लब्धा शतानम यतो भवम synonyms kusha of kushagrass kasha of and of kashagrass mayam made barhi a seat astiria having spread Bhagavan the greatly fortunate Manuhu Swayambhu Manu yajat worshipped yajna purusham Lord Vishnu labdha synonyms come down bro. Labdha had achieved sthanam, the abode, yataha from whom bhuvam, the earth. Translation: Manu spread a seat of kushas and kasas and worshipped the Lord, the personality of Godhead, by whose grace he had obtained the rule of the terrestrial globe. Purport: Manu is the father of mankind, and therefore from Manu comes the word man, or in Sanskrit, Manushya. Those who are in a better position in the world, having sufficient wealth, should especially take lessons from Manu, who acknowledged his kingdom and opulence to be gifts from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus always engaged in devotional service. Similarly, the descendants of Manu are human beings, especially those who are situated in a well-to-do condition, must consider that whatever riches they have are gifts from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those riches should be utilized for the service of the Lord in sacrifices performed to please Him. That is the way of utilizing wealth and opulence. No one can achieve wealth, opulence, good birth, a beautiful body, or nice education without the mercy of Supreme Lord. Therefore, those who are in possession of such valuable facilities must acknowledge their gratefulness to the Lord by worshipping Him and offering what they have received from Him. When such acknowledgement is given either by a family, nation, or society, their abode becomes almost like Vaikuntha, and it becomes free from the operation of the threefold miseries of this material world. In the modern age, the mission of Krishna consciousness is for everyone to acknowledge the supremacy of Lord Krishna. Whatever one has in his possession must be considered a gift by the grace of the Lord. Everyone, therefore, should engage in devotional service through Krishna consciousness. If one wants to be happy and peaceful in his position, either as a householder or citizen or member of human society, one must promote devotional service for the pleasure of the Lord. Text 32. Barhishmatim nama vibhur yam nirvishya samavasat tasyam प्रविष्टो भवनम तापत्रयो विनाशनम synonyms Barhishmatim, the city Barhishmati, Nama named Vibhu, the very powerful Swayambhu Manu, Yam, which Nirvishya, having entered Samavasat, he lived in previously Tasyam in that city. Pravishtaha entered Bhavanam, the palace. Tapatraya, the threefold miseries. Vinashanam, destroying. Translation: having entered the city of Barhishmati, in which he had previously lived, Manu entered his palace, which was filled with an atmosphere that eradicated the three miseries of material existence. Purport: the material world or material existential life is filled with threefold miseries: miseries pertaining to the body and mind, miseries pertaining to the natural disturbances, and miseries inflicted by other living entities. Human society is meant to create a spiritual atmosphere by spreading the spirit of Krishna consciousness. The miseries of material existence cannot affect the status of Krishna consciousness. It is not that the miseries of the material world completely vanish when one takes to Krishna consciousness, but for one who is Krishna conscious, the miseries of material existence have no effect. We cannot stop the miseries of the material atmosphere, but Krishna consciousness is the antiseptic method to protect us from being affected by the miseries of material existence. For a Krishna conscious person, both living in heaven and living in hell are equal. For equal. How Swayambhu Manu created an atmosphere wherein he was not affected by material miseries is explained in the following verses. Text 33. Samaryaha saprad सप्रजः सभार्याः सप्रजः कामान् भुभुजेन् याविरोधताः सङ्गीयमान सत् कीर्तिः शस्त्रीभिः सुरुगायकैः बद्धेन हृदा शृण्वन् हरेः कथाः synonyms Sabariyah with his wife. Come now. Synonyms Sabariyah along with his wife. Saprajah along with his subjects. Kaman, the necessities of life. Bhubhuje, he enjoyed Anya from others. Avirodhataha, without disturbance. Sangiyamana, being praised. Sat Kirtihi, reputation for pious activities. Sa Stribihi, along with their wives. Sura Gaya Kaihi, by celestial musicians. Pratyusheshu, at every dawn. Anubadhyena, being attached. Hrida, with the heart. Shrinvan, listening to. Hare, of Lord Hari Katah, the topics. Translation: Emperor Swayambhu enjoyed life with his wife and subjects and fulfilled his desires without being disturbed by unwanted principles contrary to the process of religion. Celestial musicians and their wives sang in chorus about the pure reputation of the emperor, and early in the morning every day he used to listen to the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead with a loving heart. Purport: human society is actually meant for realization of perfection in Krishna consciousness. There is no restriction against living with a wife and children, but life should be so conducted that one may not go against the principles of religion, economic development, regulated sense enjoyment, and ultimately liberation from material existence. The Vedic principles are designed in such a way that the conditioned souls who have come to this material existence may be guided in fulfilling their material desires and at the same time be liberated and go back to Godhead, back home. It is understood that Emperor Swayambhava Manu enjoyed his household life by following these principles. It is stated here that early in the morning there were musicians who used to sing with musical instruments about the glories of the Lord, and the emperor with his family personally used to hear about the pastimes of the Supreme Person. This custom is still prevalent in India in some of the royal families and temples. Professional musicians sing with the Shanais, and the sleeping members of the house gradually get up from their beds in a pleasing atmosphere. During bedtime, also the singers sing songs in relationship with the pastimes of the Lord, with Shanai accompaniment, and the householders gradually fall asleep, remembering the glories of the Lord. In every house, in addition to the singing program, there is an arrangement for Bhagavatam lectures in the evening. Family members sit down, hold Krishna, Hare Krishna Kirtana, hear narrations from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and enjoy music before going to bed. The atmosphere created by the Sankirtana movement lives in their hearts, and while sleeping, they also dream of the singing and glorification of the Lord. In such a way, perfection of Krishna consciousness can be attained. This practice is very old, as learned from this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam millions of years ago. Swayambhu Manu used to avail himself of this opportunity to live household life in the peace and prosperity of a Krishna consciousness atmosphere. As far as temples are concerned, in each and every royal palace or rich man's house, inevitably there is a nice temple, and the members of the household rise early in the morning and go to the temple to see the Mangalartrika ceremony. The Mangalaratrika ceremony is the first worship of the morning. In the Aratrika ceremony, a light is offered in circles before the deities with a conch shell and flowers and a fan. The Lord is supposed to rise early in the morning and take some light refreshment and give audience to the devotees. The devotees then go back to the house or sing the glories of the Lord in the temple. The early morning ceremony still takes place in Indian temples and palaces. Temples are meant for the assembly of the general public. Temples within palaces are especially for the royal family, but in many of these palace temples, the public is also allowed to visit. The temple of the king of Jaipur is situated within the palace, but the public is allowed to assemble. If one goes there, he will see that the temple is always crowded with at least 500 devotees. After the Mangalaratrika ceremony, they sit down together and sing the glories of the Lord with musical instruments and thus enjoy life. Temple worship by the royal family is also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, where it is stated that those who fail to achieve success in the Bhakti Yoga principles within one life are given a chance to take birth in the next life in the family of rich men or in a royal family or family of learned Brahmanas or devotees. If anyone gets the opportunity to take birth in these families, he can achieve the facilities of a Krishna conscious atmosphere without difficulty. A child born in the Krishna atmosphere is sure to develop Krishna consciousness. The perfection which he failed to attain in his last life is again offered in this life, and he can make himself perfect without fail.
Very bold. Okay, now we will go to Sikshastakam prayers. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for reading.
Thank you.
Oh, there's so many joining. Hare Krishna, Sridhar Krishna Prabhu Tandar Pranam. Hare Krishna, Dheeraj Prabhu Tandar Pranam. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, devotees, Dandu Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Who wants to
Can I
start?
chant this? Yeah,
Yes,
I
Prabhu. You
can
want
chant
to
this Ashram prayers.
you want to chant the whole Sikshastakam?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
We are doing like this, right?
Not every time, but if someone wants, then we can do always.
Okay, I can do this time.
Yes, Prabhu.
Shri Shikshaष्टकम की जय. चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहा दावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनं भवमहा दावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं. Sorry, I missed everything. Sorry, my focus is not there. I'll start again. चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहा दावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनं नाम्ना मकारि बहुधा निज सर्वशक्तिस् तत्रार्पितानि अमिता स्मरणेन काल एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमिदृशमिहा जनिनानुरागः त्रिनादपि सुनीचेन तरोरिव सहिष्णुनाम् अमानिना मानदेन कीर्तनीयः सदा हरि न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवतात् भक्तिरहेतुकी त्वयि अयनन्दतनुजा किङ्करां पतितां मां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कज स्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तय नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदहृदया गिरा पुलके निचितं वपुकथा तव नाम गृहणे भविष्यति युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्राविशायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्द विरहेण मे आश्लेषवापादरतान्पि नश्यु माम् अदर्शनामर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नापरः श्री अष्टकम की जय श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय My
Jai.
apologies for the mistake. Yes, revolve. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay, translations. Glory to the
Glory to
Yes, Prabhu. You can
Glory
read.
to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. We can read one by one, right?
Yes, Prabhu. O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by chanting your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One can chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire a beautiful woman, nor do I want any number of followers, only want your causes devotional service birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes and like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly in his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. Shri Siksastakam ki jai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Is there any volunteer to read the whole 10 offenses by memory? If not, then we do one by one.
I can try if no one else is there. But many other devotees, they know, right? We are doing this. Are we not doing this, Sami Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. I think everyone knows. I think most of Praveen Prabhu has done.
Okay, I will do now. For past many days, I haven't done it. I
Yes,
will
Prabhu.
start. Bahu janma kare jadi shravana kirtan, tabu tana pave Krishna pade premadhan. If one is infested with the ten offenses in chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy name of for many births, he will not get the law of Godhead, that is ultimate goal of his chanting. The 10 offenses for chanting the holy name are as follows. Number 1, to uh, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Number 2, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent to the names of Lord Vishnu. Number 3, to disobey the orders of spiritual master. Number 4, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literatures in persons of the Vedic version. Number 5, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. Number 6, to consider to give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. Number 7, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. Number 8 is to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities mentioned in Vedas as fruitive activities, Karma Kanda. Number 9, to instruct the faithless person about the glories of holy name. And number 10, to not have complete faith in chanting and to maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense not to be inattentive while chanting. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against all these 10 offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success, which is Krishna Prema. Let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desired trees, and they are full of compassionate for the fallen conditioned souls. Vancha
पञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
अनंत कोटि
नंदगुरुदेव
वैष्णव वृंद की जय।
जय
जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय।
जय।
जय गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल।
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhus, for your association. Again, it was really nice reading with you.
Jai. If all the devotees have a few 2-3 minutes to spare, I would like to show something to all the devotees.